I traveled halfway across the country to attend the biggest Beyblade event of the year, BeyCon. 3 days of intense tournaments, creator battles, and even the official Beyblade Awards. This is the longest video that I've ever made, so please subscribe and make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because at BeyCon, something happened to me that I'll never forget. Here are my objectives. Number 1, I need to see if anyone there has actually heard of my YouTube channel. Number 2, I want to win an award at the Beyblade Awards ceremony. I got nominated for 2 awards, so let's see if I can win either of them. And finally, the most important goal, can I win something? The event is packed with different challenges and tournaments, and I want to find out if I can claim first place in any of them. And by the way, I'm posting a ton of behind the scenes content on my Patreon. There are moments from BeyCon that I'm not putting in this video, like this.
He's gone! Somebody's taking Minsky!
But it's not just BeyCon. You'll also get sneak peeks at future uploads, bloopers, and even the creative process behind my videos. For the price of a coffee each month, you'll get special access to content I'm not putting anywhere else. And there's even some stuff for free members too, so if you're interested, the link is in the description. To keep my identity a secret, I showed up with my ultimate disguise. I would like you all to meet Mr. Incognito. So even if someone suspects that I'm a YouTuber, they'll never see my face. And with my suitcase all packed, it was time to get on my flight. So after a layover and over 5 hours of flying, I finally landed in Texas. So all I had to do now was check into my hotel where BeyCon was being held. This is my hotel room. But now that we're checked in, it's time for me to get some sleep because tomorrow, BeyCon officially begins! Alright guys, if you're wondering how I'm filming this video, I've got my camera queen behind me, and she flew all the way to Texas just to help me out with this video. So could you guys spam the comments with thank you, camera queen? Once I got to the event, I was immediately greeted with a familiar face, Left Spin Beys. And if you don't know who this man is, he is a Beyblade YouTuber with over 50,000 subscribers, and someone I look up to greatly. He gave me the personal tour of the venue, along with the events being held on the first day. The first event of BeyCon was actually the Beyblade TCG tournament. This was my first time playing any TCG, so I had to learn fast. Each player draws a hand and sets up a prize pool. You battle by putting your Beyblades into play, using your attacks to knock out the opponent. You win by taking all your prize cards, or if the opponent runs out of Beyblades. I've literally never played this before, so wish me luck.
In the name is how we're gonna roll it.
And I believe that is time.
Yeah, I lost. And not only that, but I couldn't even win a single game. I was given a rental deck by TMS, and it only had 3 energy cards, which meant for most of my matches, I wasn't even able to attack a single turn. Shrugging off the loss though, it was finally time for the annual Beyblade Awards. I didn't know what to expect, but when it started, I could already tell what I was in for. They even interviewed me. I felt like I was an actor at a movie premiere. And then the awards started. TMS, Left Spin Beys, and Elliot Sampson walked up on stage like bosses and started introducing the event, hyping up the crowd, you know, the usual award show stuff. And then the nominations began. The awards I was nominated for came up and...
Cypress, AJ Supercharged, Luxo Beys, and Counter Customs. And the winner for the virtual tournament poster is Cypress.
I didn't win either of them. Not gonna lie, it stung a bit. I really thought I had a shot this year, but this is only the beginning of my YouTube journey, and I'm not gonna give up. After the awards, day 1 was officially over, and I hadn't completed a single one of my objectives. But tomorrow was the national tournament, my best chance to turn things around. If you love Beyblades like I do and you have no one to talk about Beyblades with, my Discord server is the perfect solution. We have a bunch of community members who all love to talk about Beyblade. So if that sounds interesting to you, the link is in the description. I have a secret to tell you. I've never been to a Beyblade tournament before. To make things worse, the tournament has over 100 of the strongest bladers who came from all over the country just to compete in Texas. Yeah, I wasn't super confident. After registering for the tournament, I went to check out some of the vendors. I ended up buying a custom Hell's Kerbex blade by the one and only Crazy Aries. I also got a bunch of amazing Beyblade accessories from Noozle 3D, which if you didn't know, is actually sponsoring the channel. So if you want any of these amazing Beyblade accessories, check out the link in the description and use code SUPERCHARGED to save up to 20% on your order. The national tournament is a Swiss bracket where everyone battles 5 randomly selected opponents, and then the top 8 from each group move on to Top Cut, a single elimination bracket. The first few hours, they have the Swiss bracket, and then they have a break before they begin the matches for Top Cut. When the nationals started, I was nervous, but ready to go. But during one of my battles, something was off. My stomach dropped. My only ripcord launcher I brought for the entire event broke. I thought my run was over before it began. But that's when Left Spin Beys came to the rescue and let me borrow his limited edition launcher. And thanks to that, I was able to keep going, and I actually managed to make it into the Top Cut. After the first phase of the Swiss rounds wrapped up, there was a seminar with some of the biggest Beyblade creators. It was awesome getting to hear their insights, but then it was straight into the final bracket for the national tournament.
3, 2, 1, risk.
And that's where my run came to an end. I finished 9th place overall in my very first Beyblade tournament ever. And if you want to see exactly how I pulled it off, every battle, every launch, I'll be making a whole separate video on that. But for this video, my main objective is still not complete. I have to win something. After the finals were over, I definitely needed some rest because day 3 had a lot more in store, including a creator tournament where I'd be facing some of the biggest Beyblade creators ever. Day 3 started with the Metal Fight Limited tournament. Limited just means blades from the 4D era were banned from the tournament, which is kinda all I brought. Luckily, I had a few extra blades that were legal, so me and a couple people came up with some combos at the last minute and hoped for the best. In my first match though, I got destroyed 3-0, so I didn't have any confidence in my deck. However, I came up with a plan, and one of the organizers of the event let me borrow one of their Beyblades to use in the tournament. So after switching a few of my combos, I went on to finish Swiss with a final score of 4 wins and 1 loss.
Good game, dude. That was awesome.
I don't know how to explain it, but the battles are both super intense and boring at the same time. I mean, just look at this battle.
You're gonna place an Uber Eats order. Now's the time to do it, guys.
No, place a DoorDash order because
That might take a
receive
little.
the order. I am a DoorDash driver, so if you order DoorDash, you will.
Please
I will
do
get your
Uber Eats. I have enough time to do a round trip with you guys.
You went for Uber Eats?
Yeah. El Drago takes that. That is 1-0.
But since everything came down to how good your launch was, there was still an insane amount of pressure, which ended up being my downfall in the Top Cut when I messed up one of my launches, costing me the match. After the Metal Fight tournament and a few smaller activities came the highlight of the day, the Bey Creator Tournament, a battle between Beyblade creators across all platforms. Some of them even brought their own custom Beyblades. Since we were allowed to bring a custom Beyblade, I brought the Hell's Kerbex I had bought from Crazy Aries the day before. Now, this actually wasn't the first Bey Creator tournament of the weekend. There was actually a casual one the day before, where only one single Beyblade was allowed. And I actually went undefeated there, which gave me a reputation among the creators. And with everyone now expecting me to win this one, the pressure was on. And honestly, By this point, I was exhausted. I had been participating in literally everything, which meant I had almost no breaks between events. I was running on a couple cold hotel burgers, barely any sleep, and my back and shoulders were killing me from all the battling, filming, and just the stress of being at my first ever live Beyblade event. But I couldn't relax because this was the real deal. The Ranked Creator Tournament. The Creator Tournament officially started, and my first opponent was none other than the man himself, Left Spin Beys. I had been wanting to battle him in an official competition this whole weekend. He came into the tournament with his legendary custom Beyblade, Near Leviathan, so I was super scared to go against it. I started off with my Wizard Rod because he was running an attack-oriented deck, but I was nervous when the first Bey he pulled out was his Leviathan. However, Wizard Rod was able to push Leviathan onto the extreme rail, causing it to self-destruct and giving me an early 2-point lead. The custom Beyblade I got from Crazy Aries was able to snag an easy point, but the next battle was a shark scale mirror match. The only difference being that I had the low rush bit while he had level. And that worried me because I originally had level on my shark scale, but swapped it out for low rush since I wanted level on my Hell's Kerbex. So it was time to see which shark would come out on top. With a quick combo attack, my shark knocked out LSB's shark into the extreme pocket, meaning I had won with a final score of 6 points to 0. It was a great feeling to battle him, and winning was a dream come true. But I wasn't gonna get a break, because my next opponent was the national champion and the #1 blader in Texas, the Mim Sky. He brought his signature Beyblade, Thunderstrike, a Beyblade I had no knowledge about and no way of knowing how to counter. On top of that, TMS asked if we could switch stadium sides. Since I favor the side I'm usually on, we had to play rock, paper, scissors to determine who got to launch from which side. Luckily, I was able to win and keep my side of the stadium. I started with my rod, just like the first match, and he pulled out his custom Beyblade.
3, 2, 1.
And just as TMS called out his special move, my Wizard Rod got knocked around all 4 corners of the stadium before falling into the overfinish pocket, losing me 2 points right out of the gate. Then it was my Hell's Kerbex versus his Valkyrie Blast, and I took a quick point with a spin finish. Next up, Wizard Rod against my Shark. He got a quick knockout. But then, my Shark came out of the pocket and parried a perfect extreme dash from Wizard Rod, knocking it into the pocket. And that made the score 3-2 in my favor. The next match was Hell's Kerbex versus Wizard Rod, which is an easy win for me. At least, that's what it seemed like. His Wizard Rod spiraled into the pocket, but somehow it managed to recover while my Kerbex self-destructed in its place. The exact opposite of the previous battle. That put the score at 4-3, and if TMS got even one more point, I was going to lose. As if things couldn't get any worse, the matchup was the same as the beginning. My Wizard Rod versus his Thunderstrike. The same matchup that had already cost me 2 points. It felt like the game was already over. But I took a deep breath, steadied my launch, and in a split second, I pulled off one of the fastest extreme finishes in history, securing the win 6-4. I had beaten the national champion and the #1 ranked X player in Texas. But there was no time to celebrate because my next opponent in Swiss was none other than Crazy Aries, the one I bought my custom blade from. We had practiced together earlier that day, so I was nervous about what strategies he might have cooked up against me for this round. He was running Shark Scale and Wizard Rod just like me, with his Shark Scale on 360 level just like LSB, and his Wizard Rod was on 160 Hexa just like mine. He also brought his Beyblade X Proto Nemesis custom, the ultimate defense blade that could spin in both directions. Unlike the first 2 battles, I decided to use Shark Scale first, and Aries led with his Wizard Rod. With a perfectly positioned launch, I was able to knock Wizard Rod into the pocket. The next matchup was between our custom Beyblades. Since his was left spin, our Beyblades slowly equalized until only one was left spinning. Mine. And that made the score 3-0. Next was Shark Scale versus Rod again. My launch ended up being too aggressive, and his Shark Scale took full advantage, catching my rod at the worst spot, scoring an extreme finish, tying things up 3 points to 3. I had definitely let my guard down, so for the shuffle, I went with my most reliable Beyblade. And Aries picked the one I feared the most, Shark Scale. If there was any Beyblade that could knock out my custom, it was Shark. We launched, and after a couple of close calls where my Beyblade nearly self-destructed, I claimed a spin finish, putting me just 1 point away from victory. But the next battle was my Shark Scale against his custom nemesis, the best defense Beyblade. Somehow, just like it knocked out Wizard, my Shark was able to knock out Nemesis with relative ease, securing the win 5-3. My next opponent was someone I had never heard of until this point, BBX Oni. That didn't raise my confidence though. In fact, it did quite the opposite, and it started with the very first launch.
3, 2, 1. They win. That thing is massive.
My Beyblade self-destructed, which meant I was already behind 2 points, and Oni had the craziest launch I had ever seen. When your opponent can master a launch like this, it's intimidating, especially since he was running an all-attack deck. The next matchup was my Shark Scale versus Phoenix Wing. My Shark proved once again that Phoenix is no longer relevant with an insane extreme finish. That made the score 3-2. Next up was my Rod versus his Shark Scale. My Rod almost self-destructed, but it managed to land a clean extreme dash, knocking Shark Scale into the pocket and securing me the win 5-2. My next opponent was Jay's Beys. I had beaten him during the casual creator tournament the day before, and he made sure to let me know he was coming back for revenge. Just like Oni though, he didn't bring a custom Beyblade to the tournament, so I took full advantage of that, starting with my Kerpex to beat his Wizard Rod in one of the longest stamina matches I've ever seen in Beyblade X. In the next match, his Tyranno Beat pushed my Wizard Rod all around the stadium, completely destroying my stamina and costing me a point. I hate Hexa. The next battle was Shark Scale versus his Pegasus Blast, a bad matchup for me. But luckily, his Blast lost control and self-KO'd, putting me back in the lead. It was time for the shuffle, and I leaned on my ace.
Ladies ready. 3, 2, 1. Shoot. Come on. And contact. Squeaked it out with a chunky monster over finish. AJ, squeaked it out.
And just like that, I was able to take the final points with another knockout. That meant I had somehow gone undefeated in Swiss, which honestly, that's not always a good thing. Winning every single one of your matches is super unlikely, and usually you can burn off any bad luck you may have down the road with a loss or two during Swiss and still make the top cut. But since I went undefeated, I don't have that safety net anymore. Now, if I get unlucky even once in single elimination, I was out, and someone with fewer wins in Swiss could still make it further than me in the top cut. That meant if I wanted to win the whole tournament, I had to go undefeated again. I don't even know if that's ever happened in Beyblade history before. 2 undefeated runs in the same event against some of the most skilled, dedicated players in the world. So going into round 1 of Top Cut, I wanted to prove I could do just that. My first opponent in Top Cut was a blader named Zero. Like most people at this event, he was running a full attack deck. So if I made even one mistake, it could be fatal. I won the first 3 rounds fairly quickly, though my Wizard Rod came a bit close to a self-KO at one point, but then I was reminded how quickly things could go south. I let my guard down, launched Kerbex way too hard, and it self-KO'd. into the extreme pocket. That erased my entire lead, bringing the score to 4-3. Even though I went undefeated in Swiss, my tournament run could just end right here. The next match was another shark scale duel, and I knew this one might decide everything.
It's gonna be fun. Ready, 3, 2, 1, shoot!
After a deadly exchange of impacts, I claimed a narrow victory, pushing me into the semifinals. My next opponent was a blader I had faced in Swiss, Oni. Thankfully, Oni let me switch stadium sides before the battle. During the battle, I had a strange feeling he would keep his deck in the same order as last time, starting with his Whale Wave again. So I led with my counter, Wizard Rod. And I was right. My Wizard Rod was able to knock Whale into the pocket, and just like last time, he picked Phoenix and I picked my Shark. But then, he didn't use his signature launch. That told me he was serious about winning. Regardless, I scored another knockout, giving me a huge 4-0 lead. Oni went back to his signature launch with Shark Scale, and I pulled out my custom Kerbex. Kerbex landed a surprise extreme finish on Shark, and with a final score of 7-0, I moved on to the finals. Somehow, I made it undefeated all the way to the finals, and the person waiting for me there was Crazy Aries, the man that I had battled in Swiss, the guy who made my custom Beyblade in the first place, and the most well-known custom Beyblade creator in the entire community. If I won this battle, I would go undefeated in 2 creator tournaments, and I would finally complete the main goal of this video, win and claim a first place trophy. The finals were 1st to 7. The first matchup was between our custom Beyblades. And with a quick knockout, I started the finals with a 2-point lead. The second round was my Shark versus his Wizard, and I got another over finish. I could see the finish line, but I let my guard down again and launched my Wizard too aggressively. And it burst. My first Beyblade to burst in this entire tournament. This match wasn't over. The fourth round was another Shark fight.
3, 2, 1, go shoot!
And once again, my Shark pulled off a spin finish, making the score 5-2. The next round was our custom Beyblades again. Since Crazy Aries kept Nemesis in left spin mode, our Beyblades equalized for a long time before I claimed another spin finish, putting me just 1 point away from victory. And the next battle was Rod versus Rod. Since our combos were the exact same, it was all going to come down to who had the better
3,
launch.
2, 1, go shoot! Good launch, contact! Alright, green rod, yellow rod, green rod, yellow rod, green rod, yellow rod.
And just like that, I actually won the creator tournament. I beat the national champion. I beat the best custom creator with the Beyblade he built seemingly for this moment, and I finally completed my goal. They brought me to the awards room, and I was given a trophy and this beautiful custom painted bay. And then something even crazier happened.
Now, Mr. AJ, I have been looking for a worthy blader to be able to wield this certain bay. So I would like to present to you Near Leviathan 360 Zeta.
Thank you so much.
Let's give it up for AJ Supercharged!
Just like that, I was now a part of Leviathan's lore. And if that wasn't enough, Left Spin Bays also told me to keep the ripcord launcher I had borrowed during Nationals. The same one that saved me from being eliminated, and the same one I used to win the creator tournament. That launcher is now my lucky launcher. But by the time the ending ceremony tournament rolled around, my exhaustion finally caught up with me. I finished with a record of 2 wins and 3 losses. And honestly, I couldn't even be upset. I had given everything I had left. It didn't matter that I didn't win a nomination for the Beyblade Awards. And it didn't even matter that I won 2 creator tournaments back to back, because I did something even better. I met so many amazing people. People who encouraged me, battled me, and helped me every step of the way. That is something that I'll never forget. And if you want to see what's next, click on this video. I promise you won't be disappointed. And subscribe if you love Beyblades.